When I get a call from my customer asking me specifically for 128 gigabytes of RAM, I already know 3 things about that trader before they even tell me their name. Number 1, they're not guessing. Number 2, they're not padding their spec sheet. And number 3, they're definitely not trying to impress me. Here's the thing. They've already been burned. They've already watched their platform freeze mid-trade, and they've already done the math on what that freeze cost them. Here's the truth most traders don't want to hear. 128 gigs of RAM isn't overkill for a specific type of trader. It's survival gear. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly who needs it, who doesn't, and the one scenario that's quietly eating more RAM than anything else on your machine. So let me give you the picture of what's actually happening inside your computer right now. Think of RAM as the desk your trading platform works on. It's not the filing cabinet, it's the desk. Everything your platform is actively using has to sit on the desk where it can be grabbed instantly. Charts, indicators, orders, live tick data, level 2, all of it stacked on the desk in front of you. Now picture NinjaTrader walking in and dropping a stack of paperwork on that desk. Then Thinkorswim walks in with its own stack. Then your dome, then your news feed, then your simulator. At some point, there's no room left on the desk and stuff starts falling on the floor. When your platform has to bend down and pick something up off the floor instead of grabbing it off the desk, that's when your chart freezes. That's when your orders hang, and that's the moment the trade gets away from you. And that's what RAM pressure actually feels like in a live session. A single instance of NinjaTrader running a handful of charts with a few indicators can chew through 4 to 6 gigs of RAM by itself. Now add a second platform, add a dome, add a news feed, add a scanner, add a Zoom room, add Discord, add your simulator running in parallel. You see what's going on? The trader who called me asking for 128 gigabytes of RAM told me his platform was freezing mid-session while trading the E-minis. Charting just stopped. He was dead in the water, and he was running his strategy in simulation at the same time as live trading. And that's the scenario almost nobody talks about. Running sim alongside live is a RAM killer. You're running 2 full trading environments at once, each pulling real-time data, each calculating indicators, each rendering charts. And if you want to know whether your current machine is already choking, run my free 60-second benchmark test. There's a link to it in the description, and it'll tell you exactly where your computer stands before you spend a dime on any upgrade. Now let me break down the real-world scenarios where 128 gigs of RAM actually makes sense. These are actual use cases from actual traders. Scenario 1, the multi-platform professional. NinjaTrader for futures, Thinkorswim for options, TradeStation for backtesting, and a browser with broker dashboards all running at the same time. 64 gigs will get you through most sessions, but 128 gigs of RAM means you never think about it again. Scenario 2, the algo developer and backtester. Backtesting engines load massive data sets directly into memory. I've seen traders try to optimize a strategy on 64 gigs and watch their machine grind to a halt because a data set alone was eating 40 gigs. Scenario number 3, the multi-monitor chart monster. One caller told me he had 8 monitors, each running 4 to 6 charts, each chart pulling real-time data with multiple indicators. That's potentially 200 active charts updating every single tick. Scenario number 4, the simulator plus live trader. Increasingly common with prop firm and funded traders testing strategies in evaluation phase while trading their main account at the same time. Double the platforms, double the data, double the RAM pressure. Now here's where I need to be straight with you. Look, not every trader needs 128 gigabytes of RAM. If you're running one platform with 4 to 6 monitors, 32 gigs is probably fine, and 64 gigs is comfortable. And that's what most day traders actually need. But if you're scaling up, you're running multiple markets, you're running sim alongside live, or you're backtesting while trading, you will hit the RAM wall, not to mention AI trading bots. And when you hit that RAM wall, you won't get a polite warning. You'll get a frozen chart at the worst possible moment. And here's what happens when you hit that wall. Your platform runs out of room on the desk and it starts shoving stuff into the filing cabinet, which in computer terms means it's shoving things into your hard drive. Even on a fast NVMe modern drive, pulling something from the filing cabinet is hundreds of times slower than grabbing it off the desk. That's your frozen dome. That's your stuck chart. That's your order that doesn't fill. And here's the part that really bothers me. Brokers will tell you, any modern computer is fine for our platform, and that's complete garbage. Brokers aren't hardware experts. They're trying to onboard you. They're trying to get you to fund the account, not build you a reliable trading workstation. So the trader who calls me asking for 128 gigs has already learned this lesson the hard way. They've paid the tuition to the market in the form of missed trades, frozen platforms, and slippage caused by their own hardware. They're buying it because they've calculated the cost of downtime. One quick note on the spec itself, because not all RAM is created equal. You want DDR5, not DDR4. And you want a motherboard and a CPU combination that actually supports 128 gigs at full speed. A lot of consumer gaming boards will technically accept 128 gigs, but they can't actually manage that much memory at full speed. Think of it like a freeway with 8 lanes painted on the road, but only 2 lanes are actually open. The cars are there, but the traffic is crawling. That's your PC trying to run a serious trading workload. It looks good on the spec sheet, and it falls apart under real pressure. Now here's your bottom line decision framework. 1 or 2 platforms, under 8 monitors, 32 to 64 gigs is plenty. 3 or more trading platforms, 6+ monitors, or Sim plus Live, 64 to 96 gigs. Full multi-platform setup with backtesting, algo development, AI trading bots, or 8+ monitors. Spec the 128 gigs and don't think about RAM again for the next 5 to 7 years. Remember when I said that the traders asking for 128 gigs all have one thing in common? Well, here it is. They stopped treating their computer like an expense and started treating it like an investment. Because one frozen chart during a legitimate breakout can cost you more than the entire machine. Don't cut corners on the one tool that sits between you and the market every single day. And look, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I put out several of these videos every single week, and every one of them is built to make your trading setup stop fighting you. If you want to see a proper, no compromise trading machine, that video is right here, and this is the one you want to watch next. My name is Eddie Z. Thanks for watching, and may the trend be with you.